Greeting list builders and earthlings, this is Planet Mitch from giveawayrocket.com. Did you feel the earth move today? Hopefully you're not in Hawaii where the volcanoes are going off. I really feel for those people. And there's other places where there's earthquakes and stuff happening, but that's not the important part. The earth really kind of moved today in the viral list building market because today upViral added custom actions. I've got quite a few things to go through, so if you're jumping on here hoping this is going to be a quick Mitch conversation, you might want to jump on later and watch the replay and use the video speed controller so you watch it at double speed. I'm going to come over here and make sure that I am live and have everything set up so if people ask questions then I can see them, which is great. Custom actions are in several of the list building tools. They work well. They work great in some tools, average in others. Some tools don't have it. You may be asking yourself, what is a custom action? I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to explain why they're important, what you can do with them, how to edit them, create them in upViral. I'm also going to cover what you should do points-wise, potentially, for those things and how that impacts your rewards, and maybe a couple of other things along the way. So this could be a long conversation again, so be prepared. But this is a very significant change. It brings upViral way into a new world of things that you can use it for. All right, what is a custom action? A custom action, let's back up a second. I'm going to share the screen and pray that this works properly the first time, and it does. All right, inside of upViral, you are looking here at a typical lead page. I just built this one for a client today. And this is the typical upViral lead page in that you have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and email. And you could do Google+, but I think Google+ is dead, so I never use that anymore. That's all you could do. You could set up rewards. In this case, for example, we are doubling the offer if they get 5 people to sign up, which is a trick you could try. But that has nothing to do with the social sharing that you can do inside of upViral. But those were fairly limiting. I mean, you can give Facebook points. You could do 3, 5, whatever. If you remember, technically, if somebody clicks on the Facebook and brings up the share, technically, don't tell anybody, but they get the points whether that post happens on Facebook or not. And they could technically make the post and they could change the security level to only me, etc. So there are ways of making the system give you points without actually sharing. But again, if you've watched me before and talk about this, I think that the vast majority of people share anyway because they want to help their friends, etc. So there will be some people that will trick the system, but I think the vast majority of people won't. Neither here nor there. So what does custom actions bring to the party? It brings a whole new set of buttons that will go down here on the far right in this particular template, and I'm going to show you how that works. But let me just go to a custom action list that we have been building. And you can see that there's a link over here that says giveawayrocket.com/custom ideas. You can get to this spreadsheet and you can add your own ideas. But what we have done in the upViral group is to create this, and I apologize to the gentleman who helped us create this, but I apologize. I really should have gotten his name. This is a list of ideas. So besides the typical social sharing, easy for me to say, Sue sells seashores on a seashore, you can do things like reward somebody for reading a blog post or visiting, say, a client's information about a particular product. They can comment We've always had the Facebook sharing, but what about reading a Facebook post or liking a Facebook post or joining a Facebook group? You'll see that in the example that I've created for my client today. Maybe you want them to watch a YouTube video about the particular product. So all of these things, and you can read that list. I'm not going to go through them all because it's growing into a fairly large list as I scroll up. There's plenty of things that you can do, and I think the sky is the limit here, or maybe it's the moon or the stars. In terms of things that you can do, if you can think about it, you can probably create a custom action for it. And we're going to talk about how you set these up and how it all works inside of upViral. But you got to start thinking differently about things that you can do now with upViral. And this is all live today in production. And again, you can get to this particular spreadsheet with that link over on giveawayrocket.com. So, first of all, where do you find the custom actions? They are in the points section. So if you're inside of upViral, and if you don't have upViral, by the way, come see me, ask me about it, because I have a special. If you buy through Planet Mitch, I will give you a special bonus. But you go to the points section, and there are the typical points up here at the top. But down here come the custom actions, and you can see in this particular case, for my client, I have filled in several different kinds of custom actions. And once you have them, you can edit them and remove them as you roll over. So those are the typical ways of creating them. So inside of upViral, if you click on the Add a Custom Action button, and they give you a couple of examples up here at the top, but you're going to add a new custom action. So bless their hearts for putting some suggested text in there. I'm going to say, like, join our Facebook group, right? Now, you can put some text in this particular action screen. Somebody just popped into my messenger, sorry. So you can go into the action screen and give them some additional information about that particular action, and I'll show you where that shows up. So I'm going to just type in something here, and I type and talk at the same time. And the key is you want to give somebody an action, and it's almost always going to be a URL where they can go get it, go see it, go make that action. Excuse me. And so here in this case, we have a Facebook group that we want people to go talk or join. And so this is the key difference between some of the tools that are out there on the market that just give you the points just for clicking the link. Inside of upViral, we are going to then ask them a question to confirm whether or not they've completed the action that we asked them to do. If they can answer the question, then they get the points. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about this, but this is an honor system, frankly. It is not a complete verification system. This is not a drop-down where they get to put in a specific answer, etc., etc. This is basically an idea of honesty. So, and I'll show you exactly how that works in just a second. But let's just say when they join that user group, then we were going to ask them, what is your Facebook profile, so we can verify. Again, it's kind of an honor system, but you're giving them the impression that you're going to verify it. Now, there's a custom action button, so you can, or icon, so you can put in whatever icon you want. I'm going to search for Facebook so that I can pick a particular icon to use. And you can assign a color. I have assigned this blue color. If you want to change it, you can pop this up and select a different color. I'm not going to do that right now, but you could do that. And, oh, by the way, I have asked them to be able to put in a specific hex code, which is not there yet, but that hopefully will be there shortly, because right now you can't type and edit that hex code. Now, how many points you want to give them, that's a whole debate, which we will probably have towards the end of this call. But let's say you're going to give them 10 points to do that Facebook join. Now, you get a preview down here at the bottom as you're doing it. Now, obviously, the preview is at the bottom, so you can't see it while you're doing the top section. But when you get down here at the bottom, you can see how it's going to look. And if you actually click on it, it will pop up the message box that the user will see inside of the share page. So they see the title and they see the number of points. And again, that description section that I pointed out is right here. Sometimes I leave that blank. Sometimes I'm putting in additional information. But then there's a button for them to click. And I don't remember whether it actually does it. Yes, it does. So it does go to that page. And I don't need to show you that right now. So notice that, and I should have shown you this before, but the user could not click in the second section. This was all grayed out. So then they would put in their Facebook profile, and mine is Planet Mitch. And then when they press this button, that's when they get the points. Now I can press that and it'll go away, but obviously I'm not earning any points because I'm not a live page. So to make that active, you would do save action. I'm not going to do that right now because I already have all my actions set up. But that's how simple it is. So again, that's that simple description right up there. If you get rid of that, just as an example, I'll click it again and you'll see that there's no description there. Okay, so you can put whatever text you want to in there. Now, you want to keep these titles fairly short, and we'll talk about that when we get to the actual page. We're going to glance through this. So there's nothing that changes on your lead page. This is the lead page for that campaign. We have images, we have text, we have a countdown timer that I've added. Wilco, I wish you'd add one for us. And then there's the name and address and all that kind of stuff. Typical user stuff on the lead page. Don't need to talk about that anymore. So here again is the ones that I have created for this particular client. It's interesting when you roll over these. I was going to talk about this, but then it changes to edit and remove. So the first one is 20 points, 30 points, 20 points, 30 points, and then we jump down to 500 points, which we'll talk about how those points work again, but we're trying to incentivize certain actions. And again, the events, the custom actions are about incentivizing people to do things to not only share the campaign, but maybe see things that you want them to see, maybe get views up, maybe get likes up, maybe to do other kinds of behaviors. But it's all incentives, and now we can actually incentivize people to purchase. Or in this case, this client is trying to get people added to her team. So that's why she's added 1,000 points for that. All right, so what does that look like? This is the edit page of that particular thing. This thing, the share page. And what I wanted to show you here is that not only can you see the buttons over here are all added, and I've got them all in the same color, right? You can see that, right. But on the left side in the edit, you can turn those on and off. So you may decide later on, for whatever reason, that you don't want to show a particular button, but you don't want to remove it. So you can turn those on and off just like every other button in the sharing screen. So that's really cool. Really appreciate that option. So you could turn all those on and off. This is what it actually looks like in preview mode. Same screen, different. I'm sorry, this isn't preview mode. This is live. I've actually entered this. And I wanted to show you, before I move on, I knew there was something else I wanted to show you on this page, and if you're in the edit. Suppose, for whatever reason, you only want custom actions. That is a cool thing that you could actually do, because you can go in here, and if I scroll back up, I could turn off Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Pinterest and email sharing. So that I could technically have, oops, I got WhatsApp and Messenger. I could have just custom actions, custom events. That's a cool thing too. Just something to keep in mind when you're thinking about all the different things that you potentially could do with this. All right, now, this is the live page. I obviously didn't save that, so these buttons are here. But I wanted to show you that how it actually works. I'll do the Facebook group one again just so you see it. Come on, click on it. Why is that not working? Of course, things don't work when you're doing something live, right? I'm going to refresh. Why is that not working? It worked earlier. Oh, I remember. I've already done those points, and the cookies are getting in the way. That's what it is. I've already earned all those points in a different user ID inside of Chrome. So what I think is I actually have it open in an incognito window. That's the deal. All right, so if I go over here, it looks exactly the same. This is a different user. Notice I have a checkbox here and 31 points. So that was 30 points plus the original one. So let me just click on this one, and you'll see up pops the pop-up with the points that we talked about, a button to click. So down here, this is all grayed out. I cannot answer the question. I cannot click the button. So if I click on the Learn More About Plexus, it goes to that website. I'm going to close it because I don't care. It says what was the product that was on there. I don't remember what the product is, but let's just say it's Slim, because that's one of their products. Now if I click the Go button, and you can't see behind here, but I've checked. I can't move this, but I've checked. If you do cancel or if you close this, you do not earn the points. Let me just prove it to you. There's still 31 entries there, right? Just because I have clicked this and clicked to learn more about Plexus doesn't mean I've earned those points. That's a key thing, which is a differentiator between the Facebook sharing, the social sharing that we had before. They have to click this button. Again, I did it, right? Had to click the button, have to answer the question, and then they have to hit the Go button before those points are awarded. Now, I need to change the background from gray, but it says there's 51 entries. Okay, so this is all working as designed. And again, I'll show you in just a minute. This is simply a click. I'll close that because I don't need to see it. And you see this one, we actually grabbed some text from that page to include, and they have to answer something. The value of the question does not matter what they answer. There is no proof here. There's no verification. Once they hit the Go button, they get those points. So that you have to consider that in your reward system, in whatever you're doing. There is no proof of purchase, as you want to, if you want to call it that, when they are doing that activity. It's an honor system. You can see those things, and we'll jump in and we'll see that in here inside of upViral. If I go over here and I was on that user, but I know because I had to open it in an incognito window, I'm going to go to this one. See, it's 81 points now. So I'm going to click on reward points. And I want you to realize that there is an activity going on where they're going to improve this entire look and feel of the way this works. So you'll see some different buttons here later on in the tool. But right now you can see that all of those activities that I just did, join our Facebook, that was there before, learn more about Plexus points, learn my blah. So I've got those 30, 20, 30 points up for a total of 81. And over here we can still do the edit. So if I wanted to alter those points, I can alter those points through edit. But if you roll over this, see answer, then you can see what the answer was that was inserted inside of that question box by the user. And if you looked at this and said, well, Planet Mitch wasn't the right answer, you could click on edit and you could take those 30 points away if you wanted to. Do that, do save, and those points are gone. The answer's still there, that's okay. And you'll see the last one where I put in does not matter. There's the answer. Now, interestingly enough, let's see if I can go back to that other window. And did I close it? No, it's here, right? I can click on this, learn about our new skincare line. Again, this will still pop up. It still says 30 points, so I click on the button and close the window because I don't need to see that. What did you discover? I said something different before. So let's put in something different and click the button. I did not get those additional points. And I didn't refresh because I'll refresh and it will say 51 points instead. It says up here, it's hard to see, but it is 51 points. So if I go back over here and I refresh the answers on this, then you'll see that the answer came in as something different. So they could change their answer if they wanted to. It does not show them the original answer inside of there, but they can go in and change their answer. I don't know whether that matters to anybody, but that is a possibility of getting a different answer. I mean, heck, you could email them and say, well, that wasn't the right answer, right? But that also, the edit function is there for times where if I switch back over here and somebody clicks on this join my team to get 1,000 points, and they go through this function and they enter their name and they get the points, but for a fact that they didn't join your team, or in the case of buying something like the other button down here that's 500, you have the ability before the campaign is over to remove those points, right? Now, of course, somebody could do it in the last hour or something, so, and we go right back to my preference of not ever doing an automatic user or winner selection, but that's an entirely different conversation. But all of this is functioning exactly as they designed it. I have tested it multiple times before today's launch, so I'm pretty happy with everything that's going on. Almost. There's one thing that bugs me right now, and I reported this. If you go to leads and do the export, those answers are not coming out in the spreadsheet. The CSV that comes out, and I think they should be. Hopefully we'll get that resolved. But I think we need to be able to see that data in the spreadsheet for whatever. I also hadn't really thought about until just now, but I don't think, let's go find out since we're here. I don't believe, why hadn't I thought about this? In the autoresponder, I don't believe you can send those over to your autoresponder. No, they're not listed here, are they? So I don't know about that. People will have to think about that, whether or not that would be a feature request for the good folks over at upViral. Great to have this feature. Really thrilled to have it. So what are the other questions? I know there's a couple of people online. If you have any questions, go ahead and pop them in. I know Kirk is here. I don't know who else is here. But here's the big question. And there's an opportunity for improvement down the road, but in today's environment, you have to be very careful about how you set up rewards. Let's say, for example, in the past, I wanted to do a reward for, I don't know what to call it, reward for 5 referrals. And in the points, we give 20 points for every referral. So to get 5, that would be 100 points, right? And so I would create this, let's just call it an other, so that an email would go out when they earn that reward. And if I do save, then that would mean that let me just jump over to the point system so I think it makes more sense. They could earn 21 points for all 7 of these, plus the 1 point they get for joining. And if I have 20 points over here in the referral box, then that's kosher, right? So if we're doing a 500 point purchase, then they automatically get that reward. Now, maybe that's something you want to have happen. Maybe that is okay that you give out that reward. What you cannot do, which is where I hope things go in the future, but we're not going to get it today. It's not going to be anytime soon. But what I think I would like to see happen is that when you add a reward, and I'm doing a little bit of promotion here for a future enhancement, would be that we have different ways of doing it. For example, points to unlock the reward. If you put in a number here, that would be great. But then there would be another type of reward. I don't know what you would call it, but maybe there would be a drop down here that says, give reward on custom action. So if they picked a particular custom action like the buy from my store, then they would earn something. There's a lot of work that would have to be done to figure out exactly how to make that work. And I'm not sure I know what the answer is at this point, but it's an interesting question, and it's something you need to pay attention to in terms of how you set up your campaigns. So make sure if you're doing rewards that your custom action points don't mess up the way you think your rewards are going to work. And let me also go back and say one more time, because I've said this a million times, but every time I talk about points, in my book, this box right here, points for each referred visitor, that sucker has always got to be 0. You don't, in my opinion, everybody's got a different opinion. In my opinion, you don't want to reward people for having 50 people visit the lead page and do no action. Because that's what can happen if you have 1 point in there and 50 people go to that page, then you're going to have 50 points. I've seen this happen before. One young lady a week ago had 10 in there and was suddenly going, well, wait a minute, how come this particular user has 900 points when they only have 1 or 2 referrals? And you can see all of that inside of that point screen we were just looking at. But make sure you really understand what you're doing. And in my book, that points for each referred visitor should always, always, always be 0. Unless you really, really, really have a grand plan for rewarding people for getting visits to your lead page. That's a whole nother comprehensive story. But since we're here talking about points, that I want to always particularly say that one. I also think that points for referred sign-up should be the same as direct sign-up. I understand that some people put a different value in the referred sign-up, and I'm going way too long on this. But if you have any questions, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover on custom actions, custom events. If you have any questions, of course, you can put them down in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer questions. If you happen to want some help with your upViral campaign or your other tool campaign, I am always available. You can do a quick chat with me right here on my calendar, which is at meetmitch.com. That's meetmitch.com. You can always grab a 30-minute free consultation there. So make sure you pop in and ask questions, because that's what groups are for. I'm really, really excited about this custom events, custom actions. Going to change the way we do campaigns. I've been holding up one campaign for a client from Japan for custom actions because they want to be able to send people to videos and information about these lenses that we're going to be giving away. So thank you, Wilco and Kalo, who is the user interface developer that I talk to all the time, and all the other team at upViral. It's really, really great stuff. Really great to have this, even though I've mentioned a couple of things I don't like or want to see improved. That does not in any way, shape, or form mean that I am not ecstatic about this release. This is a game changer. Most people don't like that phrase because it's overused, but I think this is really amazing and is going to change many of the ways people use upViral. It's up the game. It's up, 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 up to the stars. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I hope that wasn't too long for you. I hope I answered all of the questions. I think I covered all the topics I wanted to cover. Again, just pop in and ask me a question, and I'll be happy to answer. This is Planet Mitch from giveawayrocket.com, and to the moon, Alice.